So recently I made a video called the 5 best financial moves that I've ever made. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend it. I go well into depth of some of the best money moves I ever made in my small career. So if you haven't seen that yet, link will be in the description as well as one of these two corners if you're on desktop. And one of the best financial moves I made, and I explained it in that video, was starting my own online business. And I'm proud to say that not too long after that video was published, my business actually recently hit $250,000 in gross revenue. I'll put a screenshot right here of the Stripe back office for the proof, and being at the ripe age of 18, not too far from 19, this was a massive accomplishment for me, and I'm very, very grateful to be where I am today. 5 years ago, I was making just a few bucks online, and this is really something I could have never imagined would have happened. So in this video, what I want to do is give you the top 5 lessons that I took away from building a $250,000 business at the age of 18. The first lesson is definitely going to be persist no matter what. No matter what's in your way, no matter how large the obstacle you think you might have, no matter your background, where you came from, your race, your religion, your gender, does not matter. Persist no matter what. While you're in your journey, it's sometimes hard to lose sight of the big picture, and you have to realize your purpose and what you're doing this for. There are going to be days when you wake up and you're just not going to be able to put in 100%. There's going to be days where you don't even feel like doing anything at all, but you just have to move forward. As MLK said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But no matter what, move forward. Now, it's so much easier to just give up and stop doing what you're doing. But remember, the worst feeling is having regret. We all have a short time on the planet, and you definitely don't want to bring regret to the grave. When I first started my online business, I couldn't imagine even making $1,000 a month, let alone $10,000. There were several days where I could have easily just given up, and many days where I definitely felt like doing so. But I remembered that the top of the mountain is a much better view. Lesson number 2, work smarter, not harder. The great Rockefeller said that you should not just be hustling all the time. The worst thing that could happen to you is losing momentum and burning out, and you definitely don't want that to happen. So you have to figure out how to leverage resources, time, and money in order to have mechanisms work for you passively. You could be your own CEO, but make sure that you have some sort of a system in place so that way you're not the one hustling every single second of the day. You have to have some things on autopilot so that way you can prioritize your time wisely. For example, tools and softwares like autoresponders allow me to put my energy and time into what matters most. And working smarter could also mean having to grind at something so that way eventually it is on more so of a passive level. For example, if you're selling a product or a service, it's much more easier to sell to someone that you've already built up a 1 or 2 year relationship with than a cold lead. This will mean using other people's money, other people's resources, other people's time. There's only so many doors that you can knock on, or only so many phone calls that you can make. That's why there has to be more than one of you. If you're selling something, figure out how you can have double the people, triple the people, 10 times the amount of people selling your offer. That is how you create leverage, that way you do not burn out. Yes, hustling and grinding is important, but what about taking it to the next level? How are you going to scale it up? Lesson number 3, a little progress every day adds up. While some days you might not be putting in 100%, but rather 10%, over time it still adds up. So if you can figure out how to build something up over time so that way it will greatly reward you in the future, you're in good hands. A YouTube channel, a blog, something that you can work at every single day that will eventually pay you in spades in the future. If you're under the age of 40 or even 50, you have so much time you don't even know. If you work at something every single day for 6 months, a year, you'll be shocked at where you'll be at that time. You just have to commit, you just have to have dedication, and you will get there. For example, in the early days of building my business, building a massive email list looked like something that I could have never accomplished. But I was able to get just a few leads a day, and over 1 year, 2 years, that added up greatly. And as time did go on, it did accelerate with scalability. Like if you're building a blog and you're making a blog post every single solitary day, your SEO and rankings and search engines will greatly accelerate as time goes on and you have even more posts. As I mentioned, you want to keep that momentum going. So instead of just grinding the hell out of every single day, do something that you can do throughout a certain amount of hours in the day, and just take baby steps and build it one step at a time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, so how are you using it? It's unfortunate to see people who are working full-time and have a job where they're working dozens of hours a week are not doing something on the side, something that they're building up over time. Lesson number 4, patience is key. Like I said, it's hard to lose track and not be able to see that big picture. but you have to remember that it's all about patience. Every quote-unquote overnight success story that you've ever seen was 10 years in the making. As billionaire Mark Cuban says, no one cares about your failures, they only look at your one success story. It's important not to get discouraged if something didn't work out for you, if you wasted a lot of money, a lot of time. The world is at your fingertips, and this era is the greatest of all time. It's sad to see so many people quit too soon, and when you're struggling and you feel like you've hit the absolute rock bottom, a lot of times the light is just right around the corner. Remember that the more work and blood and sweat and tears that you put into something, the odds are the longer it will last and will have great longevity. Even the top CEOs started out as employees. We're all starting somewhere. Just don't base your chapter 1 on someone else's chapter 20. And finally, lesson number 5 is going to be pain is mostly temporary. Right now you might be going through something that you'll end up just laughing at in a couple weeks, a couple months from now. A year from now you could be looking back and wondering, how on earth was that obstacle something that was so high on my priority list? Too many people are devoting their attention to negativity and negative people. Whatever you're going through right now can probably be overcome, and it's all about having perspective and being able to zoom in and zoom out on the big picture. Look at your circumstance right now and look at where it was a year ago. There's probably a lot of things that you've accomplished and achieved, and some things that you probably could have just shrugged off easily and not have to devote any energy to it. There is nothing wrong with screwing up. There's nothing wrong with failure. We can learn from our mistakes and use them to our advantage. At the end of the day, we're only human, and you just have to hold on and hang in there tight. It is not the end of the world, trust me. I do appreciate you all, and I thank you for hitting 1,000 subscribers. I really thank you for watching my content and watching my videos, and if you'd like to see more from my channel, be sure to hit that like button so that way more people could see videos just like this. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post videos on money, finance, business, ideas, tips, tricks. I cover it all on this channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell as well so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. See you in the next one.